Well, Bill, thank you for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure to be here this morning. Thank you for inviting me.
No problem. Let's start with the big issue, which is jobs. We just saw the unemployment numbers come out last week. The city's unemployment rate is over 12. What's the plan to provide jobs to get the unemployment rate down?
Well, in the short term and for long-term benefits, we need to invest in our infrastructure. And our leader, Brian Gallant, has committed to a significant investment in infrastructure in our roads and our highways and our bridges. And that's going to put people to work now, and it's going to create opportunities for long-term investment in our community, because if we have better access to our community through our roads and our airport and through our rail, it's certainly going to help attract business here. It's going to help our current businesses to prosper and grow.
When we talk about jobs in the economy in Miramichi, we have to talk about forestry. We know the situation in Miramichi Lumber, for example, that they're suing the provincial government. What do you see? What do you think of the forestry plan that the PCs have come up with? And B, if you are elected, what do you guys do to help the forestry industry, particularly in Miramichi?
Sure. Well, first off, New Brunswickers are not aware of what the entire forestry plan consists of, and that's one of the problems that we have, is we don't know the details of the forestry plan. This is something that was put in place 2 years past the due date. The forestry plan was supposed to be put in place 2 years prior to when the current government put it in place, and they haven't released all the details. And when you look at the local situation here, when we had Premier David Alward come to Miramichi in 2010 and make promises and commitments to the people of the Miramichi that every stick of wood cut in the Miramichi would stay in the Miramichi, and then he turned his back on our community, that's unacceptable. And you have a situation at Miramichi Lumber where we have a group of local people, local investors who invested over $5 million of local money into that facility. That employs 100 plus people who are struggling because they cannot get access to the type of crown wood allocation that they have. And one of the key things that was missing with Miramichi Lumber and the current government is dialogue and communication. And we had the Premier come here many, many times and state publicly that he's willing to sit down with Miramichi Lumber. Well, he hasn't done that. And I can tell you I'm committed to sitting down with them. In fact, Brian Gallant and myself have met on several different occasions with the management at Miramichi Lumber. We met with the workers at Miramichi Lumber, and I'm committed to continuing to have that dialogue after the election so that we can work towards the solution.
We got to touch on shale gas. It's been the hot button issue in this election. Your leader has called for a moratorium until more study can be done. I guess your personal feelings on shale gas, and do you see a future for that industry in this province?
Well, maybe at some time in the future, but right now there's too many unanswered questions. And as I go door to door around our community, and as I talk to other people, not only in our community but around the province, they have many questions about this. Nova Scotia just put a ban on fracking in that province. You know, Quebec has done the same thing. So there's other jurisdictions around us that are taking a very cautious approach. And what we're saying is we're very much in favor of resource development, but it has to be done safely. We have to ensure that our drinking water is safe. We have to ensure that our environment is safe. And we also have to make sure there's a benefit for our province. The current government put a royalty structure in place. That's the worst in Canada for our province. It's very beneficial to the big companies that are going to come here and use our natural resources and take them out of here. But we also have to ensure there's a benefit to our province.
One of the things we deal with in this city is outward migration and the loss of young people to jobs in other areas and stuff. Your leader has talked about that, about a program to train young people for jobs here. Can you speak a little to that and how you think what we think we need to do to keep more of those young people here and find jobs?
Certainly, one of the things that our leader has found by talking to business people and myself the same way, there's a skills gap. There are jobs available that we don't have people that are trained and skilled to do them. So we have to fill that skills gap, and we have to invest more in education and training. And that's one of the top priorities of our leader and our party, is to invest in education. You know, we have a local community college here that offers very, very many programs. We have to ensure that those programs are maintained and that they're enhanced. And that in itself can be an industry here in Miramichi where we can be a center of excellence for training for the northern part of the province.
On the other end of the scale, we're an aging population, and we know this. Senior care is becoming a big issue. It's something you've talked about a lot. Mm-hmm. Are we going in the right direction with senior care? What direction do we need to if you don't think we are?
Well, we need to ensure that our seniors are respected and looked after. They're people that have worked so hard for our community and for our province, and they deserve, you know, the respect back, and we owe them, quite frankly, for all that they've done for us. And you know, I take issue with the way some of our seniors have been treated here in Miramichi. When you look at the situation at Mount St. Joseph Nursing Home, and you look at the situation at our Miramichi Regional Hospital, where we have many seniors that are in alternative level of care beds in our hospital that can't find nursing home placement. So certainly we need to, in this region, a priority of mine is to ensure that we look after our seniors, that they have comfortable, modern, efficient facilities that they can call home. And one of the things that I would like to see on a go-forward basis, and I think Miramichi is in a very good position to be a pilot project for this, because if you look at the services that are offered at Miramichi Senior Citizens Home, they offer a Lifeline project, they offer an adult daycare program, they offer Meals on Wheels, and those are all things that are community-based projects that can help seniors stay in their home longer and provide services. So I think there's a real good argument to have a new facility that is not only nursing home, but also enhances the services in that facility, so that we have an enhanced program for daycare, adult daycare, and a geriatric center of excellence. And I think we could be a pilot project for the rest of the province right here in Miramichi.
Spinning out of that, obviously, is healthcare. The costs are rising. There's more demand for services. Liberal government, what do they do to rein in costs and also provide the level of service that people are looking for? Obviously, family doctors is an issue. What's the plan?
Well, first thing I'd like to say, I seen Premier Allward on ATV the other night, and he was, you know, very proud of the fact that he had a 0% increase in healthcare, and that's fine to rein in spending on healthcare. But when he made the comment that we did this without affecting healthcare services, it was quite laughable, because I talked to many healthcare workers at our hospital, you know, from nurses to housekeeping to doctors right through. And they're strapped because of the cuts that this government made in healthcare. I had an interesting meeting with a number of family physicians and doctors at our hospital about a month ago, and they said, look, there's plenty of ways that we can find efficiencies, but nobody's asked us. So we need to have a serious dialogue with our frontline healthcare workers, and we need to work with them and the other people in the healthcare sector to find efficiencies without affecting frontline services like this government did.
Education. Obviously, we're getting a new school here on the Newcastle side of the river. They're looking for one on the Chatham side. There are other issues with education costs. We have a declining population, aging schools. What do we do to fix up or to improve education in this province?
Well, certainly you mentioned infrastructure, and it's very important. And again, it goes to the same concept I mentioned for new nursing home, making it a center of excellence and a community-based nursing home that has other services besides just being a nursing home. We have to take that same approach for our school system. And as you said, there's a number of aging infrastructure buildings that are, you know, outdated and not efficient, that we can look at amalgamating into new, modern, efficient centers of education excellence that include other services. I know I toured many schools around the province, in Fredericton and St. John and Moncton, and you know, some of those schools are already doing it, where they have community libraries that are part of the school that are open to the public. They have community recreation facilities that are open to the public. So it's not just a 9 to 5 or 8 to 3 school, and it's closed in the evening. It's open, you know, year round. It's open extended hours, so it becomes a community center. So I think it's very important. One of the things that was very disappointing for me when the new school was announced, and it's positive that we're getting a new school in Miramichi, was that the process wasn't followed. You know, there was a very clear process in place that the District Education Council, which is comprised of local people, submit a priority list to government, and generally speaking, that priority list is adhered to. And you know, it's unfortunate that the current government and the current minister from the Miramichi region superseded the recommendations of the DEC for political purposes, and that's wrong. Yes, it's important that we're getting a new facility, and I agree with that, and that's going to continue, but we also have to follow procedures, and we also have to work with the community and do the right thing. And I'm committed to doing that in the future, to following the recommendations of the DEC and the local committees.
I guess that's it really for the questions, but I'll give you an opportunity to speak directly to voters in your riding and sort of tell them, touch on anything you feel we need to touch on, and also why they should vote for you.
Well, certainly, Darcy, first of all, thank you for having me here today. I really appreciate it. I've had the privilege since 2006 to represent the greater Miramichi region, and I'm very committed to being a very vocal voice and a very positive voice for our Miramichi region. And I think we have tremendous opportunity here under a Brian Gallant government. I've worked very closely with Brian during his leadership race, and I have a close connection to him. He has a lot of ties to our community, to Miramichi. He spent a lot of time in this community, and he's very much aware of all of the issues that are happening in our community, whether it be forestry, education, healthcare, and the general economy that is here. So I know that by working with Mr. Gallant and our Liberal team, we can see a lot of positive things happen here in the future in Miramichi. So I humbly ask the people of Miramichi to place their trust in me, and I humbly ask for their support.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Darcy.